Well, false claims about fraud in the 2020 election kicked off Georgia's first gubernatorial debate between the two Republican frontrunners. Caitlin Huey-Burns is here now to break down what happened and what is next for this race. Caitlin, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So walk us through what happened last night.
Well, Vlad, this was a really significant moment in this debate because David Perdue, who's the former senator of Georgia, running for governor in the Republican primary, he started this debate by looking directly at the camera and saying that the 2020 election was fraudulent and was, quote, stolen. And of course, we know that is not true. Those are false claims being perpetuated by the former president. But it's significant that it's happening in this particular race, or this rhetoric is happening in this particular race. Remember, there were several recounts in Georgia, including a hand recount. As you remember, we covered all of them in the state. We went down there to cover the runoff election in which Perdue ended up losing to John Ossoff. And that Senate race, that runoff, was very, very significant because Democrats were able to take control of the Senate because of that race. And that's, was able to help the Biden agenda, move forward. But you have here a Republican candidate continuing nearly 2 years later to say without any evidence that the election was stolen. That tells you a lot about where the Republican Party is right now as we are in primary season.
So this is a gubernatorial debate, right? So this is about the state of state elections. But does it say something about the GOP on a whole?
It really does, Anne-Marie, at this point in time, because we are in the middle of Republican primaries for governorships, for House seats, for Senate seats, and these are all really critical races to watch to see kind of where the party is going. So someone like Perdue, he was drafted into this race essentially by former President Trump, who has a vendetta against the current governor there, Republican Governor Kemp. The reason that Trump is going after Kemp is because he certified the election in the state of Georgia. He did the basic fundamentals of his job by certifying the election results. Remember, there were several recounts and audits in that state to verify the results. That's it. That is really the basis of Perdue running here. So that tells you a lot about where the Republican Party is. If someone like Perdue is successful and he is actually lagging behind in the polls to Kemp, that shows you kind of where the party is. So Georgia, that primary happens next month. There are other primaries in which Trump has endorsed candidates that also are taking place next month. Ohio, for example, just kicks off in about a week. So those are races to watch as we're looking at kind of the evolution of the Republican Party post-Trump, whether it still is attached to these false election claims, whether that gets you anywhere in the Republican Party. We'll get some of those answers next month.
So where does the race stand? And let's talk about the main issues that are affecting voters in the state of Georgia.
Well, Kemp, the incumbent Republican, has been leading Perdue in most polls, and Republicans that I talked to on the ground there say that Kemp is pretty well positioned for re-election, at least to regain the Republican nomination at this point. What's really interesting here is that Kemp is trying to run on the issues that Republicans would like to run on, not the false election claims, but on the economy, on inflation. Kemp is running ads talking about ways in which he reopened the state post-pandemic. He's been going after Democrats on inflation and the state of the economy. So really kind of focusing on those issues. He's also been traveling around the state talking about tax credits for gasoline and other kind of, pocketbook, kitchen table issues. So the idea that this primary is really around the false election claims, says a lot. Kemp, if he is successful, that would also be a sign for Republicans hoping to kind of get away from those false election claims.
So before we let you go, I want to ask you about something that Senator Elizabeth Warren said on Face the Nation. She had a warning to Democrats about the midterm elections. Let's play that sound.
We need to be out there fighting. And what we need to fight for are the things that touch America's families directly. People are counting on us. And we can't just sit back and play politics. We need to be in the fight on behalf of the American people. And that means people who are struggling with student loan debt, people who are struggling with high prices, people who are worried about this pandemic. We deliver, then that's what democracy is about. We can face that election in November with our heads held high.
So I feel like this is something that you expect from Elizabeth Warren,
Yeah.
but is this message particularly significant now?
You know, what's significant here is that Elizabeth Warren was on Sunday shows this past weekend. She is not prolific on these shows, and I think that tells you a lot about the way in which she really wants to get this message out. Actually, last week she wrote an op-ed in the New York Times where she said if Democrats don't deliver on their agenda items, then they will face dramatic losses for the House and Senate next year. So the idea that she is going on television on the Sunday shows, which she normally doesn't really do a lot of, I think tells you a lot about the kind of importance that she thinks about getting this message out there. Congress returns back to Washington this week, guys, after a 2-week recess. They have a lot on the agenda to get done. They know the calendar is kind of shrinking in terms of getting legislation through with the midterms on the horizon. And so this is really crunch time we're entering this week. And you're going to be hearing this a lot from Democrats who say that they need to go back home to their districts and states with some deliverables before they face voters in the fall.
All right, Caitlin, thank you.